almost 12 or something. Almost midnight for other people. Almost like 10 for others. 11. And then the rest of the world. But I don't know who's up. But I'm just doing the video for now instead of reading homework. This is the book that I'm supposed to be reading and not. Alright, so I'm going to be using the tried and true Tarot Mucha on this channel. Not everything I say will resonate with you, but based off of faith, we'll go from here. Look, we're gonna do a few messages about these big transits happening for Libra. Because it's time. I mean, you know, everybody's kicking into gear. So should Libra. Alright, I've had this deck for about 10 years, or at least coming up on 10 years, so let's see what this deck has for us. So, just like the title, 12th house is the South Node. The 7th house, Saturn. In the 2nd house, Lilith. So cards. What does Libra need to know for the time being? So, Knight of Pentacles and Justice. Some powerful energies coming through. Libra, you are finally showing up in your own reading. So, if y'all have been on the trifling route, it looks like Saturn is just like, I want to know what Libra's been up to since the last time I was actually in their sign. Last time I was in the last air sign. And Saturn's like, oh, this is how you've been moving. This is how you've been acting. Why? You know, this is Saturn. Saturn's like, why? You know, I do have to go back into Pisces for a while, but when I come back, it's time for me to correct the 7th house for Libra. Libra gets to see the mirror. So behind the scenes, you also have different things being exposed. In your 2nd house, things are being exposed. So any type of financial abuse, any type of emotional abuse, any type of obligation. Saturn and Lilith are tag teaming at this point in time moving forward. Lilith is going to be in Scorpio for a full year. It does go into Sagittarius, but then it retrogrades back into Scorpio, which is why I'm saying a year. So if you think, oh, you know, I'm never going to have, you know, what I want, the treatment that I need, it's coming. It's going to set it up for you. Saturn is realizing, you know, from the last time Saturn was in your sign, it's like, you know, I set Libra up. I set Libra up for success. But Saturn's also looking back and realizing before it has these conversations with Neptune, what it actually did in your 6th house. Because when Saturn was with you, Neptune was also entering Pisces. That also caused you to be chaotic in more ways than one. They don't want to talk about it. But it is what it is. So sharpening Libra's sword is what Saturn wants to do. But at the same time, you know, Saturn has a soft spot for Libra. Interesting how there's a few glitches that are pixelating here or there. But, you know. Okay, here we go with the Lilith. We have the Death card and we have that 9 of Wands energy. Okay, so Lilith in the 2nd house coming through. We have the 3rd, the 3 of Swords. We have the 2 of Cups, and then we also have the 2 of Swords. So Lilith energy coming up pretty prominently, especially if you have a Libra rising, but it doesn't have to be the case. For Libras in general, again, Saturn wants to see what you have going on against you at this point in time for you to be exalted again. You know, everybody's calling for justice. Everybody needs justice, but, you know, obviously Libras are late. Justice is late, you know. Justice can be on time, but it normally follows divine timing. And since things in the world are everywhere, there could be a lot of passings, one thing leading into the next, the domino effect going on in your life that has caused you to be bruised and battered. We have 2 major arcana out here. So if you have predominant Libra and Scorpio placements, or you're attracting Libra placements, you're attracting Scorpio placements, it's time for you to do so. All of you need to come together in order for you to push forward into this next phase that you all need to be in, especially with Neptune now in Aries, because Saturn is going to have these conversations in Aries for you, Libra, but it is going to cause you, and it needs to cause you, this needed transformation. So if you have been praying for this transformation for a while, you've been bruised and battered for a long time, or for others of you, people have bucked at your character, for one reason or the next. But at the same time, it's self-esteem, this low self-esteem that you may have had, or Libra placements that you may have had. Now it's time to transform. There's no escaping it at this point in time. So this can be the easy route, or this can be a little difficult and very challenging, because Death card, especially if you don't have the Scorpio placements, it is a very challenging scenario, situation. But the thing is, you will be okay, but it is needed. But it's going to bruise your ego a little bit, because for some of you, you are too nice, too considerate. Excuse me. You needed to be saved. You don't want to be the doormat anymore. My hair, it's growing. It's about to be hair growing season. So my little baby hairs have like a mind of their own. And I'm about to be going to bed soon. So I felt called to do this reading right now, because I do feel like it's very important for you to at least know the planet's calculations on why things have been on your neck for like the last few days. Everybody's going to be experiencing it differently, especially with Mercury and Uranus kind of talking it out in Taurus at this point in time. A lot of people have to face this financial transformation as well. So good, bad, and different, because you can have a lot, but it's still challenging. The crown weighs heavy on the shoulders of so on and so forth. But either way, 7:42 is when I was saying that on the timer. So 3 of Swords, 2 of Cups, and the 2 of Swords. So the 3 of Swords, this could also be just environmental situations. I know in one of the Scorpio readings, the 3 of Swords was coming up more as like a weather card, climate change, so on and so forth. But the 3 of Swords, I think this is like a needed separation. So whether it's a romantic situation or friendship or just different connections that you have going on in general for you, Libra, the 3 of Swords says that this is a needed disconnect. It may be hurtful for the time being, but there's so much more going on behind the scenes than you realize at this point in time, because of the calculations of the stars, because everything needs to fall together again, so on and so forth. Okay? It's needed at this point in time for you to excel, and for you to also find this new balance when it comes down to your connections, because I think some of your connections have been taking you for granted. That's a Libra thing, okay? And then for others of you, this is you actually tapping into your DNA. This is you tapping into where you want to go next. Some of you could be battling having children coming up, wanting children or not. I don't really know your age, but that could be coming up as well, between your ancestry, your heritage. Do you want to continue the legacy? Do you want to continue the heritage that you have? And I know some people have their own opinions, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you, okay? Most of the time when it comes down to Libra placements, you have, how can I say this nicely? Most of your personality, most of the star sign, the constellation of Libra thrives on codependency, because you're just like Virgo to some extent there. in the last timeline, in the last age, the age of Pisces, where we needed, quote unquote, we needed the connections, where Virgo is just like, hey, we have these needed benefits. We have these benefits, like we can help each other. Now in the age of Aquarius, Libra, you're asked to disconnect, to find out if you want to continue this codependency that the constellation of Libra brings. But then at the same time, you're also met with everybody calling for justice, everybody calling for new negotiations, new agreements, disagreements to finally be brought to the light. Anything that was held in the dark will always be brought to the light. And this is what's going on right now. Two of Cups, there are going to be partnerships that are going to be showing through and through to you, but the Two of Swords just and Three of Swords makes me feel like lies have been going on, deceit has been going on, ill feelings have been going on, and it's all out of your control. Why? Especially if you're dealing with any type of Scorpio, or because of any type of Scorpio placement. It doesn't have to be somebody close to you. It could be a third party, to be honest, or the third party of a third party. You know how it goes when it comes down to Libras. Regardless, when it comes down to these disconnections, whether involving Scorpio placements, involving your Scorpio placements, it doesn't matter. You need to evolve, you need to transform. And though, again, it's going to be difficult, you are going to have different needed partnerships that come in. So if there were partnerships that have left you in the past, what I'm getting is the divine, God, whoever you pray to, they're going to bring it in when it's time. For the time being, Saturn is just like, too many people have been taking you for granted. Neptune in your 6th house has made you too chaotic, and not too many people outside of that transit have been able to stomach your regulated nervous system, or they're realizing you don't want this. Sorry to say, you don't want this regulated nervous system. You were okay with this codependency, but the thing is, the structure still needs to heal. Otherwise, these cards would not show up. Okay, the Two of Swords is this indecision about some of your connections. I'm not trying to get on to you, but the thing is, it's coming up for a reason. When you look at the Two of Cups, you have the worms right here. I know for some people it's like the snakes, but it's the little worms right here talking about health. Your connections need to be healthy moving forward. And with the lion's head right here, there's a lot of pride, and that's okay to have a lot of pride. But the issue as well is the reasons why this disconnect has happened, this fixed nature when it comes down to your connections, your friendships, your network, is some of them were just not honest, or right now they just have not been honest with you. And though it has hurt you deeply, 13 is important. I see 2 13s right now, so 13 is important for somebody. Regardless, if people are not being healthy, the universe is separating you from these people because it's enough. You have Lilith in your 2nd house that is going to completely dismantle certain things when it comes down to your value, the things that you want to work for. Just for instance, just putting it out there, just getting paid to exist. Lilith is extracting you from different people who think that's bogus. Their thinking is bogus because we're in the age of Aquarius now. We're no longer in the age of Pisces. Okay, just as a quick example. And then in your 12th house, Virgo is nuts. Sorry for anybody who has strong Virgo placements, but it's true. In your 12th house, you have the south node of Virgo. And though it's going to go back into Leo later on within the next 9 months or something, that's 9 months. A lot needs to be done in 9 months. Virgo placements are already having to get their stuff together. Them and Pisces have these huge eclipses that they need to work out. So if you've been having some contention or some strife or some conflict when it comes down to Pisces placements, when it's been coming down to Virgo placements, it is all in the calculations of the stars for you to separate yourself at this time. Because in the back brain of Libra, whether you're a Libra sun, a Libra moon, a Libra rising, or just different Libra placements, these Virgo placements in your 12th house have caused you to close yourself off. And you need to, dive within. You need to figure out what's going on back there to whatever extent. This can be personal, this can be business, this can be passion, this could be you trying to put yourself out into the world. But why are you stuck in whatever this mental prison is? And do people even care that you're in this mental prison? For others of you, you found the key. You found the key to the mental prison. And some of these Virgo placements are very frustrated with you because they're just like, why or how did you escape this mental prison? Good. All I say is good. However you found the key, you got the key now. Keep going, keep moving. You're going to do all right, especially with Saturn in your 7th house. To a lot of people, that's very daunting. That means relationships are ending. That means business partnerships are ending. That means this and that and this. But with Saturn exalts Libra. When Libra and Saturn finally fuse, when they finally come together, just like Saturn being across from you, yeah, it's still going to give you a little bit of a hard time, just a little bit. But along the way, again, so many gifts are going to swarm your way as well. The Death card, in general, when it comes down to the other side, there are gifts. There are things that are supposed to be given to you. So at one point in time, if things were stolen from you, not to say that you'll get those exact things back, but you'll get something better back. Okay? Bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. I'm just going to grab a few more cards and then I'm going to go. Gonna do my skincare routine, put a bonnet on, and go to bed. I might do yoga. Might. Okay. Anyway, look at that Leo card. Leo card right there. So the cards want to prepare you for in a year's time. I'm not really sure. But the 3rd month within a year, I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. But with this Leo card here, you either have Leo placements, you've been dealing with Leo placements, or you're attracting Leo placements coming in. But when the South Node moves into Leo, the cards say that you need to be exalted in a new form of life. You can't stay where you are. I don't really know what that means for you guys and how it's going to manifest. But Leos for Libras, they want you to go big. They want you to have these upgrades. They want you to be softer. They want you to be more compassionate. There could be Leos from your past that have hurt you that, I don't know, there's something where like now you're free. Again, you have the key for some of you. You have the key. Some Libras, you're going to realize they want to stay in that mental prison. I'm so sorry, but the trait of Libras is that we can be trifling. Now, there are some Libras that are out there, like I'm saying, who want to stay in that mental prison, and you can't help them. Not everybody is supposed to go with you. Not everybody is supposed to ride this ride with you. So it is what it is. But if there was any type of like Virgo, Leo, whoever who wanted to like keep you in a box, no more. No more. Or as soon as it happened, you were out of there. So you could have Gemini placements, you could have Aquarius placements, but you were out of there. Stuck where? But I also feel like, again, if there were certain individuals that hurt you when it comes down to your love life, when it comes down to your partnerships, when it comes down to business, expect either you to have a front row seat to things being dismantled, or you're going to have a front row seat to their transformation. But if they really did you dirty, expect within a year or two to hear back about how you won in the end. They may have laughed at first, but you get the last laugh, Libra. And for some of you, this is just a long road or a long example of vindication that you have needed. But again, in terms of justice, it's a very masculine thing. You know, when it comes down to the feminine nature, the feminine nature wants to think of safety. It's not always going to think of protection and or justice and safety don't always run together. Okay. And I know some people, when hearing that, it's just like, wait a minute, that's not cool, that's not fair. But maybe you're just listening into the Libra reading, but Libras know this division very well. If you choose safety, you don't always get justice. If you choose justice, you're not always going to be safe. Okay? So now, Libra, in the age of Aquarius, you got to figure this out. But these are the next few years that line up to this overall justice, this hearing of justice. Does it mean it's like the end of the marathon, the end of the race? No. But you will have a leg up at least. At least. Some of you have been waiting years. Neptune in your 6th house. I already know. It was hard. That shit was hard. You know, I've complained before about Uranus being in our 7th house. That was hard, but I think a lot of us just looked over the fact that Neptune was in our 6th house, driving us mad. Because the 6th house is about, you know, your well-being, your sustainability, and Neptune, if you know the Greek story, you can add on to this, but Neptune in itself is the water, confusion. There's a few other words I could use, but I'll stop there. And those together, especially in your 6th house, it caused you to be mad. It caused you to be, you know, out of body at times, completely disconnect from your soul, but your soul is coming back, Libra. That's what I'm also truly getting at, because now that Neptune is in Aries and it's going to have these conversations with Saturn, these energies can run as long as they want, but Libra has been hurt. This vindication has to come from somewhere. But again, like I'm telling you, there's going to be some Libras out there who they still want to be trifling. Not every Libra is part of the kin, folks. I'll say that much, okay? And it's weird because Libras can be so nice, but not everybody sees everybody's ugly. So if you can stay detached, if you can stay on your road, if you can know this now, you're going to be well prepared and better prepared moving forward. Okay, bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So money is going to be steady coming in. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So steady as she goes, steady as she goes. We're not going to try to rock the boat too much here or there, okay? And then we have the Tower. Some of you might be bringing the Tower. It is what it is. But that's what they get. And some people may think, oh, then are you talking about me? If we're going to have this Aries back and forth thing, it's not going to be a one-on-one type of situation. It's going to be one versus the people at the top. Or the Bug's Life type of thinking. I know I'm not supposed to always talk about Disney, but sometimes, you know, it's good references. Sometimes, not all times, sometimes. But that's what I'm getting. And if you get it, you get it. If you know, you know. If you don't worry about it. Let it catch you when it catches you. That's not supposed to be an insult. Everybody learns differently. Everybody learns at a different pace. Some people are good with numbers. Some people are good with words. Some people are bad with words. Some people are good or bad with numbers. No judgment. But okay, Libra, I'm going to let you go so I can do my skincare and go to bed. I got work in the morning. And it's going to be another busy week. It's how you act. Okay, anyway. I'm going to go. Thank you so much. I'll be back later with more messages. Whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a great morning, noon, evening, or night. I know I'm doing it at nighttime. And it's raining. Love that. But anyway, talk to you guys later. See ya.